Good morning, everyone. It's Friday morning on Revere Beach at the 2013 Revere Beach Sand Sculpting Festival.
And can you feel the energy, Ed?
I can. You know, it's amazing. As we said yesterday, the energy was going to start to ramp up. The activity is going to start to ramp up. We've got the stage already erected in the background. We've got singers. You can see we've got the food trucks all along the boulevard here. As we talked about yesterday, it's turned into a giant promenade. It's looking good.
It is. It is. All kinds of people. There's kids playing in the sand. There's music going on here. There's people waiting in line for food. And we're going to take you all through the festival and give you a bird's eye view.
Yep. So before we do that, we're going to go to today's report from Meredith.
Right. We are at Justin's plot. He has come a long way. He's got a lot sculpted since yesterday. He has another whole character right here. Looks like he's coming out of the ground, holding onto some type of a tube. Not sure yet where that is how that's going to play into the story of his piece. The cut-through piece that he was doing yesterday looks like he's just about finished with that. He's got leaves coming off of it. Looks like there's a globe inside of there. And he has another character over here. So ultimately, when everything is finished, it will all make sense. He knows what it's going to be. He's got it in his head, but it's up to us to figure it out as it goes on. All right, here we are at Benjamin's piece. We saw this yesterday, the head split in half with the skull in the middle. He has taken it down farther, though, and he's working down at the bottom. It's nice and smooth. The man's chest is now finished. He's hollowed out, cut through, so there's two halves of the man. But what we didn't see yesterday, which is very interesting, he has the man and the skull inside on this side of the sculpture. And then when you come around to the other side of the sculpture, he has the skull split in half with the man's head in the center, the opposite of the other side. Very clever and very effective, too. Steve has lots of flowiness going on with this piece. Kind of, not sure if this is representing flames, maybe, coming from the bottom, I think. Yeah, maybe the phoenix rising from the fire could possibly be what it is. That's my guess at this point. You'll notice these four kind of like, I don't know what you'd call them, coming down off of the phoenix. You can look at those now and then look at them, probably the next time we come around. They'll be cleaned up. Well, they should be cleaned up. That will be part of the judging, is the quality of the carving and how well they finish it. If you look at the ground around Edith's sculpture, which we will get to the sculpture, but she has an array of all kinds of tools down here on the ground. She's very clever. She and Wilfred design tools. They find all kinds of things to use as sculpting tools for texture, for different features that you'll see on her sculpture. Now, if you do look at the sculpture, it's very clever. It's very unique. And like I said yesterday about somebody else's, how sometimes they, look rather plain and simple. Those divots are not easy to do, to get them all so smooth. When you sculpt one, then you do the one next to it, you have a tendency to knock out the sand from the one before. So it's strategically done in a special order so she can minimize knocking pieces out. And look at how nice and smooth and clean everything is. Now, if you look at the inside of Edith's sculpture, you'll notice texture on the inside as well. And what that means is she literally was down inside. She hollowed the whole cylinder out and was inside creating that texture, which brings up an interesting question. How did she get out? Now, if you come around to the other side, yesterday when we were talking about that hunk of sand that she had off to the side of the cylinder, she was standing on that. Once you cut that off, she doesn't have anything to stand on to get inside or outside of this cylinder. I do believe Edith could fit through that hole. I think that's how she got out of the cylinder. Did you crawl through there, Edith? Did you come out through the hole?
I went in and out there, like a snake.
Yeah, that was her door. Clever. And this is even a better view of the texture on the inside through the hole. You can see much more of it. Here we are at Joby's plot. He's come a long way since yesterday. I'm curious to go around and see the other side and see if he did anything more with the shark. He was talking about needing to look at a shark's head, so we'll walk around and see if that's done. But in the meantime, you can see that the two boxes that were up on the side of his plot yesterday that we mentioned he probably would be using, you can see all the sand that he has cut away and out from inside of his sculpture he's now using in these two separate boxes. And now I have a little bit better idea. I think it's looks like some type of a squid or an octopus, and these are going to be tentacles, I believe, coming out of it. It will all connect to the main body of the sculpture. There's no head on the shark, so we'll see what he ends up doing with that. This is a nice shot with the light, just right from here, the shadow and the lights, that kind of like a rib, it looks like ribs almost inside there, where he has all the cut-throughs.
Just start from the, this is a great, I got the shot.
Okay. This is a great shot from here, a great angle with the sunlight the way it is right now. It kind of, it highlights the hollow, how he has it hollowed out. You can see it almost looks like ribs on the inside there. And that's a lot of work hollowing out. But like we were saying yesterday, he does have to end up using all that sand. And that's why he had the 2 extra pound-ups to do. Okay, here we are at Mary Ann's plot. I took a guess. I was just speaking to her, and I took a guess. I said it kind of has an origami look to it, almost like folded paper. And she said that's exactly what it is, that it is probably a little boy, I would guess, his homework, and he's crumpled it all up. And tomorrow she's going to have writing all over it, like he has done his homework and then crumpled up the paper. It's clever. Okay, we were talking yesterday about Marianne, that she had left some of the sand underneath the chin and looked like she had cut a little bit of it, but then she walked away. I went to a different part of the sculpture and was working on something else. Well, you can see now that she did cut out that block of sand underneath the chin. Not only did she cut it out, she ended up cutting clear through underneath all the way through to the back side. This is a good shot of Dan taking off his next form. It's always kind of, you hold your breath when you take these forms off, you just hope you did everything right. Dan's a pro, he's an expert at this, so usually, we don't worry about Dan you're a pro, Dan. We don't worry about Dan when he takes the forms off, because he definitely knows what he's doing when it comes to a pound-up. Whoops, just broke a form. Oh, it's really, the flow on this is beautiful too. We were talking about those squares yesterday, and now you can see that they are, I wonder, I was going to guess something to do with cards, but no, that's not a good guess. I can already tell that they're not cards. They're too square, but it will make sense probably, in the whole, when we see the completed sculpture and the title. It will be very clever, I'm sure. The left hand, you can see, is done. Really nice anatomy. That's difficult. And we will walk around to the back side where he was working on the back, and we were talking about how symmetry and the body and how it has to be right. And that it is difficult because he is not using something to cover the back so he doesn't have to carve it. He did cover it. So real anxious to see what's going on down at the bottom two forms of Dan. I'm just walking up to Sue's, and I had Sue's piece. I had not seen it since late yesterday, and I'm just looking at this hand imprint. That's a nice feature. That when it comes to artistic impression, which is one of the categories that they're judged on, part of the criteria, that's what we're talking about. That made me feel something. I don't know what it means, the imprint of the hand. Maybe it'll speak more to me when I go around the other side what her intentions were, but it doesn't matter. It's nice, it's well done, and it is a nice feature. I also really like the positioning of the heads, it shows emotion. This head that we're looking at with it tilted down, and you can just barely, she is given the subtle hint of the eyes and the nose. You can see the ears. And she's also putting this texture on it, and she still has to maintain the features underneath it. Like, you still have to be able to identify and see the eyes, nose, and ears. So, well done. Oh, this is what we call devastation. I mean, this is just heartbreaking. Dan Doubleday had this really immense, powerful, dramatic sculpture, and it collapsed. He was definitely pushing the medium of sand. You know, we talked earlier about them taking risks, and this is exactly what we're talking about. If you don't take risks, you don't win. You know, you push it. You know, and they're all talking about beating Joby, and you know, what can we do to push it one more, push it up a notch. And he tried it. You know, it didn't work, but Dan Doubleday is one of those that a lot of times it does work, and you just take it with a grain of salt. He will come up with plan B. He will sculpt something. He will never leave a pile like this. None of these sculptors would. The professional level that they have achieved, they would never leave a pile of sand like this. So very curious to see what Dan does with this.
I was moving the camera around a bit, so I'm just getting a little more static shot of what you're saying. Okay. Saddest part when you see the remnants of it.
Yeah,
Little bits of
the rubble.
Right.
And you can see everything.
I mean, it's so much better if it was just totally a pile.
Yeah.
You can see the...
Is that cold? Oh. That's a good flavor, too.
Go ahead.
Okay, we're at Chris's piece. Nice job, Chris. I'm pleasantly surprised. He's got kind of like a stormtrooper guy over here. It is. That's nice. We're going to take a walk around and get a look at that detail. But right now he's working on the kind of like an armature, I guess, on this lizard, huge desert creature. Yes, Chris?
I'm sorry, what?
Like, is it a lizard or is it something from Star Wars?
No, but it is like a desert creature.
Okay, kind of like a, okay, yep.
You have it.
All right.
I haven't put the desert in yet.
Okay. Well, you've got plenty of sand. You have plenty of sand to make a desert.
What's that?
You have plenty of sand to make a desert.
I've got plenty of
Sand is in abundance here.
I'm good. I can burn some cans. I might see that actually make my product.
You do have a couple more forms, you know. You're aware of that? Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to it. Looks nice. A lot of detail, clean, nice, and nice shadows, and looks good.
Thank you.
Oh, there's a really nice shot now of the stormtrooper. You can see all the detail. It takes a long time. Nice flow of the cape there. Shows movement. That has to be thought out. You can see the leg through the cloak. Nice. Okay, here we are at Amazing Walter's plot. Really nice. He's got a lot of arches and textures, bricks. Oh, looks like this might be his outhouse starting on the corner here. I'm not sure. We'll see if that ends up being an outhouse. He does have a lot of sand on the bottom, though. You'll notice that. And now when it comes to the criteria, usage of sand, you know, unless he's able to sculpt all that, that will be a category he'll probably, you know, the scores won't be as high as other categories. Okay, here we are at Wilfred's site, and very unique. I'm trying to see if I can find where he used the natural beach sand, if we can see. Wow. That's some pretty deep cutting and carving going on here. He's got a lot of weight up there. Really cool. It's hard when you take a look at this angle, like right in here. All these holes end up somewhere. You have to plan that. You know, you can't just get in there and start carving and not know where it's going to end up. You've got weight that you have to consider. The more weight you have in the center, if you're cutting out, you take risks. I see that he's working with some of that dry sand now, the beach sand down there on the bottom. Okay, now we're on the other side of it. Here's a different view, and you can see what I was talking about the holes going somewhere. They are kind of all meeting in the middle, and it has it all hollowed out up top. Then if you go down to the bottom, here's a different view of the bottom. It almost kind of looks like it's a gear that is going to be turning, give the illusion that it's turning something. I'm not sure. I'll be curious, anxious to see that. Okay, here we are at Rusty's. Look, Rusty spent a lot of time on this feature on the right side of his sculpture, the building, the architecture. It's very tiny, tiny detail, and it takes a long time. And you have to, once you start it, you commit yourself to it. And you just have to be in the right frame of mind to get all that detail done and follow it through. But looking good. He's working on the tree now. Looks nice. I'm liking this forced perspective thing. You can see where at the top of the building, it's angled down. I'm picturing and envisioning that that's going to be more buildings going down at a forced perspective. Like this is a road to somewhere. You can also see right down in this, right here, that's somehow some of the natural beach sand. I don't think that was intentional. You know, we talked about some of the sculptures like Wilford intentionally using the beach sand. That looks like it might have been in one of his shovel loads when he shoveled it into the form because it's only in that one little spot. You know, Rusty just mentioned something to me and I didn't notice it, and that's how good these guys are, that they can, fix things and so you don't even know that there was a problem. He had that huge crack in the top of his sculpture yesterday, and he just pointed out to me that this whole area, all this right here, he cut that back. And if you go back and look at the footage from yesterday, you'll see that that was probably out this far. So he had all that weight that was pushing down this way, and by cutting it back like that, he's taken all that weight off, and the crack has not come back. So those are the things that these people deal with all the time, and they know what they're doing, and they know how to fix things, and that's what makes them the professionals that they are. Okay, here we are at Sandy Feet's site. Oh, look, the mermaid is crying. The creature has no fin. From this angle, here's a good shot of the forced perspective, and you can see that she's blocking out more buildings now down at the bottom and how they go in as they go up, and it gives you that feeling of going up that road, all the winding road, all the way up. It gets smaller as it gets to the top, almost like you could just go walk up that path. Hey, we're at Sandus's site. Oh, that's nice. What a nice feature there. That is an intentional crack. That's not a crack. That's more like a seam. But nice, nice flow of the lines. Sandus had a problem yesterday with the day before with the heat, and he recovered a little bit yesterday, but he's, you can see off to the right here, he does have to use all that sand, so he is now moving it around to be able to incorporate it into his sculpture.
Well, okay, we're going to take you on to the other parts of the festival to show you the other activity that's going on, so follow along with us. We're standing here right now with Matthew Nash and Barbara Bulls from the DCR, who have a great exhibit here, and I'm going to have you guys explain what this is all about.
Sure. I want to just first explain our agency. The DCR stands for the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation. It's your Massachusetts State Park agency, but we're also involved with fire control throughout the state. We just sent a fire crew to Quebec to help out with fires there. We're also your emergency response team for hurricanes, blizzards, and water supply, the Quabbin Reservoir and Wachusett Reservoir, and then a number of emergency reservoirs. A few years back we had that emergency where the pipes broke. Well, we relied on emergency reservoirs that were in DCR state parks. And then the last thing we're involved with is protection of historic places and properties. And people can take on a building, they can manage it, repair it, and live there.
Yes, but don't forget, we also do educational programs for the public, and that's what we're doing here today with the Trash Talking Turtle.
Yes, this is something we do with the Virginia Aquarium. I met them at a recent sea turtle conference. We make these turtles from litter that's collected on the beach. And you can go to a website. It's www.trashtalkingturtles.com to find out more about it.
Okay, moving around the tent, we're here with Annie Adams from Save the Harbor, Save the Bay. Annie, give us a little update about what you're doing here with kids.
Oh, so today we're here with a touch tank with lobsters, starfish, and crabs, and we have them here to show the kids and teach them about what's in the ocean. Usually when we're not at events, we're all around the harbor at places like Courageous Sailing, Piers Park, and community boating. Also, looking for lobsters and crabs and fish. And we teach kids about what's in the harbor and the history of Boston Harbor, and it's a lot of fun.
So if these kids were to walk down here to Revere Beach, what could they find in the ocean?
Well, along the shoreline, they'd be able to find things like hermit crabs, possibly little crabs called Asian shore crabs, some mussel shells, scallop shells, some razor clam shells. And if they dig a little bit, they could find, little like sea roaches and little cute things that are fun to find around here.
Okay, let's walk over to the water.
Yeah, here we have
Take this and let's walk.
Here we have our educator, Hung. He works with us this summer. He's a junior program educator. And we have lobsters and stuff in here.
Pull something up for us.
Yes, we have 2 lobsters, courtesy of James Hook Fishing Company, and they gave us these this morning.
Yeah.
Okay, we're over here at the CDM Smith table with folks from CDM Smith. We have Julie Lucas and Robin Sasick.
Hi.
All right, well, welcome. Thank you both very much. Tell us a little bit about what this exhibit is all about and what kids can learn here.
Well, this is an Enviroscape model, and basically this is giving kids an example of where water goes when they flush the toilet or use their sink. So we can give you a little example here of what we're showing kids today.
Okay.
Here's an example of an office building, for example, and if everyone in the office building was to flush the toilet at the same time, all of the water would come through. We've got jimmies to represent our wastewater, and it will come right down through all of the pipes right to our wastewater treatment plant. In that wastewater treatment plant is when the water is purified and cleaned, the solids are taken out, and then it goes back into our rivers. And then on the other side, full circle, it comes back to our water treatment plants. Our water treatment plants will clean the water further and then store it, and that is for houses and businesses to use. That's what comes out your faucet on the other end.
So we're cleaning it up as it comes out,
Yep.
cleaning it up as it comes back
Yep.
to us, and then doing it all over again.
Circle of life.
That's a good way to put it, circle of life. Well, thank you both very much.
You're so welcome.
Hope you have an enjoyable couple of days here and you get a lot of people stopping by.
Yes, drink lots of water.
Yeah, amen. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, well, right now we're over here at the Revere Karate Academy table with Doreen DiRienzo, who was a recent subject of ours on Focus on Revere with Debbie Pesca.
Yep, that's right. We're actually this summer, in just 2 weeks, we're going to be hosting the Boston International Karate Championships here at Revere High School. So we did a nice piece on that. It was a great interview. Yeah.
Great. Well, tell us a little bit about what's going on over here in your section of the tent.
Well, we're here for the 3 days, and we're offering free karate lessons to anybody that would like to have one. Anybody that comes and takes it will also get a certificate to come and take another week's worth of classes if they like, and that's good for either karate or a fitness class. And on Sunday, we're actually going to be doing a cardio kickboxing exhibition as well, and that's going to be, I guess, a little further down the other end. And tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I'd take that back, 2 o'clock, we're going to be doing a karate exhibit with some of my students.
Okay, all right. So you'll actually be doing karate lessons here in the tent?
Yeah, we're doing lessons here in the tent, but we are actually going to do a demonstration tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Hope you have a great weekend.
All righty,
right,
thank
take
you.
care. We're sitting here at the East Boston Neighborhood Health Center tent along the boulevard with Mike DeCastro.
Mike DeCastro, I'm Director of Outreach at the East Boston Neighborhood Health Center, and we're one of the sponsors this year of the Sandcastles event. We're really happy to be here. We're promoting all the services that we have at the East Boston Health Center 24 hours, 7-day-a-week emergency room, and all the services from pediatric to geriatrics. We have Janice from our Elder Service Program.
I'm from the I'm from the Elder Service Plan. I've been with East Boston Neighborhood Health Center for over 20 years. It's an excellent program. It's all-inclusive. It's for 55 and older. We have right at Maverick Square in East Boston, if you're familiar. It's a new small site. There's a barn site, Winthrop. And we have everyone on staff, nursing, doctors, physical therapy. That's the department I work for. It's a rehab department. And I can't say enough about our program. It's one of the best.
Okay, we're here at one of the many food trucks that are here along the boulevard today. This is Taco Party.
Correct.
And we're talking to Keith Schubert, the owner of the truck, yeah?
Yes, sir, that's right.
Tell us what you got, Keith.
We have tacos, but ours are a little different. We have all vegetarian-based proteins. So we have tofu, tempeh, and seitan. They're all just as protein-filled as meat would be, but a little healthier for you, less fat, no GMO, like just as good as we can make it and as tasty as we can make it. We have basically 3 tacos, tofu, tempeh, seitan, like I just said, repeating myself. And there's various different toppings. You can get 2 choices of sides, rice and beans, or chips and guac. And that's pretty much it. A very small menu, but that means we've made it very, very delicious.
All right, we're standing here at the Chicken Delight food truck with Ricky Singh and Stuart Singh.
Yes.
And they're actually doing fresh coconut water, as you said, but I refer to it generally as milk. But, yeah?
Coconut water. A lot of Caribbean people drink this coconut water.
Yes.
Cools you down. It's actually good for the hot weather. So we thought about doing this coconut water down here today.
Show us how you do it.
Yes.
Show us how you do it. We're going to get out of the way.
Yeah,
and the fresh coconut, like you see, came in from Florida just for this event today. And what we're going to do, we're going to actually take some skin out of it, like that. I'm using a machete to do this, as you can see. We're cutting it right around.
Hey.
Give us a minute. Yeah, give us a minute. So, here you go. Fresh coconut on Revere Beach. Cool you down. Would you like to have one today?
I would love to have one.
Yeah, let me give you a nice cold one, okay?
We called it coconut milk. But
No, I'm going to have a sip of his.
It's so good.
When it's cold, it's so refreshing.
Yeah.
Delicious.
And it's healthy.
Okay, here we are with Paul from Clam Jammers. Paul, give me a little bit about what you have on your truck.
Well, we are from Rhode Island, so we have a lot of the Rhode Island staples like clam cakes and chowder and stuffies, as well as lobster rolls, clam rolls. Yeah, that's about it.
I can't wait. We actually this was our first truck that we talked to Paul to begin with, because we saw the stuffies and asked him what was in the stuffies, and give us a little bit what's in the stuffies.
Well, in Rhode Island we call it stuffed quahog stuffy. It's a quahog. We steam them open. We chop up the clam meat. We stuff it full with chorizo and peppers and onions and bread, and they're amazing.
Yeah, I just ordered my lobster roll, and that's what I'm going to have to eat. But we need come by the Clam Jammers. See Paul. I can't wait. We're ending this because we're going to all eat right now.
Come see us.
All right. Well, Debbie, this is unbelievable.
Okay, so we have a great view of the beach from up here. Don't rock, don't move.
The wind is blowing. It's unbelievable. We've been to all the food trucks on the boulevard. We've eaten a little bit of everything from everywhere. I think this is about the time to say good night. As we come around one more time. There we go, for Revere TV. We'll see you later.
I don't think he got the memo. We're supposed to stop.
Well, it's been a long time since I've been on one of these things.
I know, me too. And I didn't realize how fast it went.
As a little kid, it feels like a whole different ballgame.
It does. It feels like a